The teaser we have just seen has reached over 10,000 contacts since it was released last month, and a lot of people start asking us, okay guys, this is pretty cool, but what is Rust the Afterworld? Is it a movie, a series, a music album, a video clip?
None of this, but it's also a bit of all these things.
Rust is a game. We have collected the most amazing peculiarities of a role-playing game all together and put them all into a completely new card game, something like anything you have tried before, and you can carry it in your pocket.
It is set in a near future, a possible future, a future in which the world has been devastated by a terrible war. And from the ashes of war, a dreadful disease spread out, a plague which affects both man and machines. It's called Rust.
In this rotten, shattered world, humanity has been decimated, and the survivors have gathered into 4 factions to the 4 corners of Earth, fighting each other for survival.
Among the survivors, there are some chosen ones, a few special individuals who seem to be immune to the plague, and who soon become heroes for their peoples. We call them the Masters.
And you, as a player, will be one of them. Daniele and I come from different experiences. I'm a film writer, producer and director, and Danny is a musician. But we have been both players and games enthusiasts since we were children. It's how we first met, actually, playing at some friend's house back in the days before meeting up again years later for working matters. So one day Danny comes and tells me, I got an idea.
I had this feeling for the setting, a devastated postmodern world in which I wanted our protagonists to move. And I knew I wanted to tell a story through a game.
I told him, sounds perfect since I got an idea too.
Max wanted to put together something that was a completely new experience for the player.
We have studied all the games we found for about 2 years. We wanted to solve all those issues that were some way frustrating for the player. We wanted a game that was dynamic but not repetitive. We wanted it to be strategic but didn't want to create a 200 pages manual to learn from. And we wanted it to adapt to the personal style of each player.
We had created many prototypes and different versions. In the end, we did it.
It's an extremely fast game. A match usually lasts 5 to 10 minutes.
You can play in classic 2 players mode, 1 versus 1, or with all your friends in different ways, and you will never play twice the same match.
It's unlike anything you have tried before. And why? Because there are no turns. It's a completely original game system in which players substantially play simultaneously.
It's easy to learn. The rules are contained in just 1 page. But at the same time, it is strategic, and this is because the game system is intuitive and flexible, and because it's a game in which every choice you make is affected by need and by the choices of the other players.
It's not just about sitting down and casting spells and monsters against your opponents like you do in almost any other card game. In Rust you can explore and conquer the world around you, you can make alliances with other survivors and recruit them. You can search for treasures or forge weapons with which to crush your enemies. It is completely immersive.
And it's not a game in which the only goal is winning. The goal in Rust is to stay alive in hostile world.
One of the big limitations of role-playing games is that you have to follow a story. It's like walking on a fixed track. In Rust, it's you who create the story. Your story and the history of your world according to the choices you make game after game.
And at the end of it all, you have to try it, because it's a lot of fun.
There's no way we can really tell you, and anyway you would not believe it.
You just have to give it a try.
Oh, and one last thing. We have created this game for the players. The biggest limitation of many other card games is that they are collectible card games. Rust is not, since there is no rarity of the cards at all. And we will continue to expand it with new sets and packages for advanced players, but they will never be randomly combined.
The player will always know what he is buying.
We want people to play Rust and have fun, we want tournaments to be run, and we will also give life to an official championship without all those elements that make other games so frustrating. We do not want people to invest tons of money just to build a deck that will be useless after a few months. Because we are not a multinational company, we are players creating a game for players.
The game is ready, but in order to start the production process, we need your help.
We have already contacted some fantastic illustrators that will give life to the Rust universe. And among them there will also be some great names like Tomasz Jedruszek, whose past work on so many great games has been absolutely stunning. And also legendary Paolo Parente, who will realize for us some of the key illustrations of the game. Paolo is one of the greatest illustrators in the world. He has created some fantastic works in the last 20 years, and we are really proud he joined our team.
Once the graphic process is finished, we will actually have the game printed. So, if you will take part to the campaign after the summer, you will have your first set of Rust right at home, ready to be played.
You can choose among many different rewards. In the Kickstarter page of the campaign, you will find everything described in detail.
Essentially, in the game there are 4 factions, which we call tribes. 4 peoples to choose from, 4 different ways to deal with plague and opponents.
The Northern Tribe was learned how to unleash the magical power that resides in the soul. The Southern Hunters, who roam the desert in search of devices from the old world. The descendants of the Eastern people of the Samurais, proud masters of the blades. And last but not least, those who have been most affected by the Scourge, the cursed people of the West, who lived in the place from which the Rust first originated and which have been transformed into something terrible. We have merged these tribes into pairs, so you can choose the pack North vs South or the East vs West pack. In each of these packs there are 2 decks of 40 cards each, plus 2 Tribe Master cards, which is all you need to start playing Rust with a friend.
If you take both packs, you will have the entire collection of this core set. And hurry up, because for each type of reward there are 50 copies available at an early bird reduced price for our fastest bakers.
Moreover, there are some amazing stretch goals to be unlocked, each one with terrific additional rewards for everyone. And if we manage to reach the highest threshold, there is a surprise for all our supporters. We will realize, together with Ancient Future Entertainment Production, the first chapter of a live-action series entirely dedicated to the Rust universe, with original music by AfterWorld. And all of our bakers will receive a limited edition Blu-ray copy along with the game set.
So, are you ready for the AfterWorld?